Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Reading Corner. Today, we're going to be talking about the fact that Rebecca Yarros dropped yesterday, that we have a third edition of Fourth Wing coming out. Oh my God, what are we doing? I don't know. She
Like
just dropped like
other
three
editions
X's version.
series. Like we're gonna get like two more fourth wing editions with like 4 million bonus chapters and like just
Yeah, before we get Iron Flame. Um, for any of those of you who don't know, this is my friend Taly, and we're going to be talking about this together because she sent it to me yesterday. I had no idea what I was opening, and I didn't open it. And then I'm
why didn't you open
screaming.
it? Oh,
What?
why didn't you open it, ma'am?
I don't know. I was busy. Also, please ignore my email. Um, so I mean, it's the same cover,
Yeah,
except now it's a black background, which is very interesting.
giving Onyx. It's the exact same colors as Onyx Storm, ma'am.
The gold background color has been replaced with a black background cover. And then the circle that we have on the inside is white instead of gold, which is
Interesting.
the bottom part of the circle is gold. So that's
Huh?
interesting. Um, and it's the design now that I'm looking at it is following what the Onyx Storm cover followed because the center
Yeah,
is Charon now, which is
yeah. That's
really
what I
interesting.
mean. This she's making it match the Onyx Storm cover, but I'm like, why?
Why?
This is
I
what I think we're gonna get something. We're gonna get a bonus scene where we talk specifically about something that we learned in Iron Flame.
Yeah, this is which is gonna be different from what we've gotten before because
Yeah.
before we've solely gotten something from Fourth Wing, which
Yeah.
to be fair, they released on the same day,
If
but
I was her, I definitely wouldn't have written like something that you need to read the other book for. If I'd done that, I would have released it afterwards. But like I
yeah.
said, she did what she did. But now we can open up to everything. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what the heck?
Yeah, and the thing too is that was a big gripe of Fourth Wing coming out, the special
Yeah.
edition, because they came out on the same day as Iron Flame. It felt like they weren't talking to each other. There is that huge like plot hole of like, well, now
Yeah.
Violet is bonded to Terran, so now I'm responsible for her, and it's like, hello.
But you were there before.
Wait, like, what about the deal that we learned about later? And
But like you didn't talk about said deal
right,
because you learned about said deal later. It's fine.
like wondering if she's gonna go back and kind of quote unquote fix it. I don't know. I
I
do,
want her to talk about the deal, and I want her to talk about his second signet.
I do too. Like ugh, somebody help us. I don't know. The person that can help us is the one that like has written it and is like, yeah, I'm gonna drop this on September 17th, everybody. It's like, what? Um,
At least we're not starting school that day. Can you imagine if we had to like go to class before we get? Oh gosh. Uh,
I would have another poli sci moment, and you know what I mean.
yeah.
For context, I read the throne scene in Iron Flame right before I was supposed to go to one of my poli sci classes. Worst decision I've ever. I'm like sitting here in class, like I don't want to be here. This is awful. The other thing we have to talk about is the fact that another publishing company, which is not Rebecca Yarros's publishing company, either of them, because I think she has two. Her romance books are published under Entangled Publishing, and then her Fourth Wing ones are published under Red Tower Books.
Which makes sense. I mean, romance books are much different than
Yeah,
that.
yeah, definitely. But it's neither of those. This was a post by the publishing company Indigo, and it was reposted to Rebecca Yarros' stories. So
It's
that means
correct.
information is correct. And
Oh,
it says it has the cover, and then it says never before released scenes from the hero's point of view. We're gonna
wait,
be who the hero is. I'm confused.
are we talking about Zayden? Or
Yeah,
are we
that's I'm like, who's the hero? I don't know. And then the other one is two previously released book chapters. So the two previously released book chapters are the book chapters that are in the
here?
special edition of Fourth Wing that came out around the holidays.
Oh, this is not helping me in my decision, my smart financial decisions
No,
at all.
no, I'm like, do I get another copy of Fourth Wing? This is ah
I wasn't thinking about the fact she'd had the other bonus scenes in there too. Oh, no, this is not helping me. Okay.
I will say though, if you cannot financially buy these books, or if you cannot, for accessibility reasons, read actual print books, she will put them on her website like she did with the other two bonus seats. So that's amazing. But I'm
Yeah.
like, do I do it?
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I for context, Jada wanted me to read these books in the school year and she got them for me. So I haven't actually spent money on these books yet. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's return to the question of who's the hero then.
I
Because
think I still think it's Zayden because the other post that she made said Zayden's point of view.
mhm,
And Zayden is one of our two main heroes.
yeah,
So I still think it's Zayden. Because what else could we get from Violet? We talked about last night a little bit, like maybe we get a sparring scene in one of the montages, but we don't really need that. It was just sexual tension.
or if it's not a scene that is in the book itself, let's say we go outside of the book, is it with her parents?
Yeah.
Your dad, because clearly we have a very frosty relationship with her mother.
Yeah, it's the scene where Lilith made the decree because we know that she made the decree, but we don't actually know what happened.
Jumps in 6 months afterwards.
Is it her training with Major Gilstead?
This guy we've never met. Everybody, this guy we've never met. Let's just pop him in. It's great.
Yeah. Just yeah. We see why she sucked because he probably sucked at his job.
Maybe. Or, I mean, to be fair, the training that she had in her schooling, that's a year versus 6 months.
Yeah, but also let's think about who her teacher was versus whoever that guy was.
Okay, we know nothing about Major Gilstad, so I feel bad crapping on him.
Yeah.
Unlike some other professors that I don't feel bad at all.
Look at Car versus Felix though. Like the people at this guy suck.
Yeah, I mean,
I
which
don't know.
makes a question, totally unrelated to this info dump that we just got. Why do they suck so bad?
I know. It's like, why are you picking such bad? Except for Devera, we stand her, but like,
She's really doing all the work around here.
and Kate Worry is pretty good.
Ugh.
And technically, Markham's a good teacher. He just lies.
Kind of.
Like,
Yeah.
if he wasn't lying, he probably would be an okay professor.
Or Emeterio, who quote unquote doesn't have favorites, but if he did.
If he did.
Okay, so if the main character isn't Violet and it's Zayden and it follows the pattern of the ones that we've previously gotten,
Yeah.
really wide open here. I saw the post that Fantasy Fangirls made on their stories last night, and this is kind of how I figured out that we got a new version. I said, "Wait, what?" And they have 3 theories plus a crackpot theory, and I was like, "No, what?" But then I was going back, and
I don't want to deal with that anymore.
I know they're. But then I was going back, and I was like, "Oh, they have 3 theories plus a crackpot theory."
There's also a TikTok that I saw that I'll bring up later. But
Yeah. So the theory that they posted last night was the first kiss in the snow, first meeting Violet on the parapet, or the tree scene.
yeah,
And I don't know. I kind of want it to be something different because I don't know how we're going to get the tree scene differently. I'm like, we already know kind of how that happened. Because I think he mentions it in, was it Iron Flame or was it Fourth Wing, where he was like, yeah, I know you were there.
well, he knew they talked about it right after. I thought because he's like, "Hello."
Yeah. Like, I don't know how we could get that differently from his point of view, but then also,
So she didn't realize because her brain thoughts were like, "Oh, he used the shadows. That's how he knew that's not how." But that's
no, because it's confirmed later in Iron Flame, once we learn that his second segment isn't intrinsic, he's like, oh yeah, that's how I knew that you weren't going to tell, is because I read your memories, or not your memories, but your thoughts. And that you, or he specifically says intentions.
I have. We can make an entire video on just the intention situation.
Yeah.
Not gonna get into that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe it could be the tree scene, maybe not. I kind of don't want it to be, but then Fanny's Fangirls had this TikTok this morning that like could explain what would happen if we got it.
So basically, what they said was we could see him using that ability from his point of view because we've seen it. We've technically seen it from Violet's point of view. I don't know if it's the scalp prickle. I don't know, but we've seen her be like, I know, like she knows that he's reading her. We've seen it when she says things in her head that she doesn't say through the bond, and then he responds. So that's us seeing it through her point of view. But we haven't seen him actually use it. We don't know what it's like to be inside an Intensic's head because they're all dead. So that would be cool.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there. That'd be cool.
Yeah. And it could be that we get that scene because we got it from Violet's point of view and she says, I swear I could see him reading through my head or something like that. What did she say? I don't know. I don't have the direct quote, but it's like, I swear he was like looking through me and could see through me or something like that.
Yeah. And then she's like, it's the shadows. I'm like, oh.
To me, his power happens when she does feel that scalp tingling, prickling, because in chapter 16, from Violet's point of view, she's saying that her scalp was prickling. And then when we read Zane's POV in chapter 16, he's looking directly at her and is having this intensic moment. So to me, that confirmed
his POV because we didn't know yet, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
She wrote it in a way that we still didn't understand that he was an Intrinsic, but like
I think it was a moment of, do you pick up what I'm putting down here? And I think after we made that intrinsic connection in Iron Flame, it was like, oh.
Yeah. Oh. Speaking of one of those moments, though, I just thought of this. What if we get one of the moments from his point of view where he answers her when she didn't actually say it?
Yeah.
What if
question?
What if it is after she's attacked? Because I don't think it would be a sex scene. Like that would be weird. What if it's after she's attacked and when she's like, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, and he's like, yeah, you're alive. What if it's that moment and we see him reading that and being like, okay, she's freaked out.
Yeah. Which, what? Look, we'll get into this more in a future video because this is not the place for this. But how is I'm alive an intention? I'm very confused on that.
It's like your intention to live. Your intention has been to live this entire time. That's not
new.
Yeah.
That's not new.
New information. Okay.
Yeah. So then on the other ones, I don't think we're gonna get the first kissing because we get chapter 39 of Fourth Wing. Yeah. So I don't think we're gonna get
in detail about that one. He mentions the tree and he mentions
the
kiss and he mentions what was the other one? There was the other one that
mentions meeting Violet on the parapet too.
Oh, meeting Violet on the parapet too. Like we get those because you were originally saying it's not going to be something that we like he talked about in that scene at all, and then we reread the scene and we were like, oh, he talks about both of the scenes we already got. So that's open, but I don't think it's going to be the kiss because he goes much more in depth on the kiss in that paragraph.
So let's jump to what we're talking about when we say the scene and we reread it. We're talking about chapter 39 from Fourth Wing, and he's like, homeboy's stressed over here because Violet's just very much unconscious.
Okay.
And he's like, oh my God, I'm in love with her and I didn't tell her. And then he's trying to figure out when he fell in love with her, and this is what he says: she can't die, and not just because there's a chance I won't survive. She can't die because I know I can't live without her even if I do. Somewhere between the shock of our attraction at the top of that turret to realizing she risked her own life by giving up a boot for someone else on the parapet that first day, to her throwing those daggers at my head under the oak tree, I wavered. I should have realized the danger of getting too close the first time I put her on her back and showed her how easily she could kill me on the mat. A vulnerability I've never allowed anyone else. That's very important, factoring in Iron Flame and the fact that he trained his ex-fiance. But I brushed it off as an undeniable attraction to a uniquely beautiful woman. When I watched her conquer the gauntlet, then defend Andarna at threshing, I stumbled, stunned by both her cunning and her sense of honor. When I burst into her room and found Orin's treacherous hands at her throat, the rage that made it so easy to kill all 6 of them without batting an eye should have told me I was headed for a cliff. And when she smiled at me after mastering her shield in mere minutes, her face lighting up as the snow fell around us, I fucking fell. We hadn't even kissed yet, and I fell. Or maybe it was when she threw knives at Barlow, or when jealousy ate me alive, seeing Atos kiss the mouth I dreamed about countless times. Looking back, there were 1,000 tiny moments that pulled me over the edge for the woman asleep in the bed I always pictured her in. That
Oh,
scene, first of all, makes
I,
that's like parallel, maybe a little bit below the chapter 36 actual love confession that he says to her very awake face.
to her awake but very injured and tortured and traumatized face.
She's like fully conscious.
Yeah, and then he's there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in another video, but oh my god.
Because I originally was like, oh, we're not gonna get something that we've kind of already discussed in chapter 39. But then it's like, no, because we got the kiss scene
I'm
from
just imagining us get every single thing that he just mentioned. Like, not right now, but like at some point, we have everything that he just mentioned.
yeah, so because I originally thought, oh, it's not gonna be something he mentioned in chapter 39, but then we got the Dane kiss scene.
And we got the putting her on her back.
Yeah, we got chapter 9 too.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it could be the tree scene then. The
Yeah.
only one that I do not think we're gonna get is that first kiss scene because
He goes
was
in
very
depth.
in depth.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones were like, oh, like this is kind of when I felt for her, but it wasn't that in depth. Whereas the kiss scene was like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I don't think we're getting the kiss, unfortunately. I think that that would be cute, but we don't need it because he just did that.
Mhm.
Um,
I could see the parapet scene though.
I could see the parapet. I want Sigale's commentary. She's like, we both know she says he's the most explicit man she's ever seen. And he's like, oh no, it's a soaring gale, but like, she's cute. And Sigale's just like, can you stop? Like,
Shout out to Akadar people who know what that means.
I have not read Akatar for context. Anyway,
We'll get there. We'll get there.
eventually. But yeah, I want Sigale's commentary on Parapet. Honestly, I would want. Well, we're not gonna get Sigale commentary during the kissing scene either, but because they're doing their own.
Her other thing.
Yeah. Fantasy Fangirls in that same TikTok said it would be fun to see Xaden for the kiss. It'd be fun to see Xaden as Sigale's doing that with Taryn, and also Xaden on Churum would be just funny. But
I feel like we're gonna get Xaden on Churum and Onyx Storm. Lots.
Oh no. Okay. No, please. Okay.
Well, because Violet originally thought that her assassin in Iron Flame was high and on drugs.
Mm.
Yeah, which is why I think we're gonna get more Churum moments, but who knows?
We have a friend who's currently reading the book and he's read up to that part. And I'm like, what did you think of her high assassin? He's like, I didn't even realize he was high. And I was like, my guy.
You're like, this is awful. This is awful. Yeah. So then let's turn to Fantasy Fangirl's crack theory, which then sent us spiraling. I was like, oh my god, I kind of want to see it. Really,
I
really
want it,
bad.
but I don't because I don't want to deal with her anymore. Please. Like, I
I
know
want it. I want it because she's suffering. I want it.
Yeah. I know we're gonna get a lot of Fern Onyx Storm, but I'm not excited for that.
Are we?
We might.
Maybe, unless she just
I feel like
continues to hate Violet some more. So the she that we were talking about, I made crack theory that we are kind of dancing around because we kind of want it and we kind of don't. Him breaking off the engagement to Kat. Maybe.
Do we know when it happened?
Well, we know it was before. It was right before Parapet.
It was right before Parapet.
Mm-hmm.
So it was before he even like knew her.
Mm-hmm.
So
he cut it off because her uncle wouldn't give him the luminary if they got married.
Think that there was the underlying reason of I made the deal with Lilith. I need to focus on Violet and protecting.
Maybe. Maybe.
I like that theory.
I do too. I do too. Yeah, because he cut it off before he knew Violet, but he had made the deal with Lilith.
Yeah.
And by the deal, which honestly to God, I don't know why you're still here if you don't know what this deal is.
Yeah. What are we on?
But the deal that we're referencing is the the 107 scars on his back and the fact that her mom also tied in an additional deal. It wasn't just, oh, I carved these scars into your back and you're now responsible for 107 people. You're also going to be responsible for a deal that I call in at a later date, and that deal was protect Violet from getting killed unless it's like a normal Rider Quadrant way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically, wouldn't Amber Mavis coming into her room count as a normal Rider Quadrant thing?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Don't we love this? Oh, their culture.
But he
I
had fallen by then. We
Yeah.
all
And also they were connected, so he kind of had to,
yeah.
he wanted to survive.
Yeah. I I want it and I don't. I would love to see
But
how
the
that
thing
plays.
is, we could get all three things. We could get that. We could get his power, possibly, because he's probably going to read Takara's intentions or Cat's. And we're going to talk about the deal, because if my theory about that is correct, he's going to be like, I need to focus on Vi, which means
Mhm.
deal. I don't know. I don't know. I honestly think it's going to be something she's already written.
I think
Like,
so too. I think it's gonna be something from this list of the parapet or the it's not gonna be the kiss scene,
yeah.
but
The
list.
other thing that I had thought of was perhaps it's a scene. It's the scene because we were like, I want more in the deal. Like, I want him to talk about the deal. So my thought was,
Also wants to tell Violet though. He's
yeah,
begging her
yeah,
to do this.
yeah. So maybe the deal, maybe to get more on the deal, we see from his point of view the scene where she talks to like Melgren and her mother and Colonel Atos on their way to the flight field, and Lilith's like they spend so much time together because their dragons are mated, and Zayden in his head is just like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
ma'am,
Mhm. Or
hello.
is it when she said because he said, uh, I thought that
We put that behind us for
we put that
sure.
behind us years ago.
Yeah,
So is that?
yeah. That's the only other one I could see, and then Parapet, and then or it's the other option is there's something we completely like it's a completely new scene and we get like a drop off or something.
Yeah. I why do I kind of not want it to be a drop off?
We've seen a drop off before
Yeah,
though.
that's why I'm like, I don't feel like we need to see it. I don't,
Yeah,
because we also know, I feel like we know everything we need to know for a drop off. We know who Kat is, we know who Serena is.
yeah. Unless there's like important Onyx Storm characters we're gonna meet in the drop off scene, I don't want it or care.
Or like, it could be, if we're going back to, it could be a scene that isn't in the book at all. What if it's a scene with his dad?
Or his mom. Is
Oh my God, this awful woman!
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know. I hope you enjoyed, and until next time.